This man is Mark.
Hello and welcome. Yes, TFNation has been and gone, and I'm sorry it's been a bit overdue in getting my reflections video out, but here it is. Yes, obviously TFNation happened a couple of weekends ago. This is the bank holiday Monday afterwards, and I've finally got the time to sit down and do my thoughts video on how I think TFNation went. Before I get started on my own personal experiences, I want to just go over the general consensus of how the convention went, seeing as what everybody's been doing it, and I've watched the majority of people's post TFNation videos, their hall and thoughts videos, and my experience of going to big conventions such as Auto Assembly and TFNation is a bit limited because I only started going in 2014, so I've been to 2 Auto Assemblies, 3 rollout roll calls, and now a TFNation. But I'm just gonna basically say what everyone else has been saying, and saying that it was a fantastic convention. It went off really well, very smooth and professional. I was quite impressed with the way TFNation did their run up to the convention with the transmissions they put out on the website. That was fantastic. Kept everyone in the loop as to how things was developing and what guests was coming in and stuff like that. I think that was fantastic the way they did that. At the convention itself, obviously last year was the last Auto Assembly, and it was a much bigger, louder, brasher than other Auto Assemblies of the past. This year's TFNation, they decided to just do a fairly straightforward convention by the numbers. They got some decent guests in, a lot of artists, but they did such a good job of pulling it off over the weekend. Fantastically brilliant. I never saw any trouble. Everything went nice and smooth, and because I was a bit of a dealer this weekend, I saw a bit of the behind the scenes stuff, and everything I saw was fantastic. Very cool, calm and relaxed on behalf of the staff, and yeah, fantastic job TFNation, brilliant, fantastic. I just can't say any more about it. Obviously a fairly straightforward convention this time round, but next year you'll move on and start making things bigger and better. But very well laid out. We had the third party, the display room with all the third party stuff in it, which is something that's I've never seen before. Obviously, they had the display of the Beast Wars and the Rock Lords, which was fantastic. The panels, they were staggered. There wasn't any overlapping panels, so it gave everybody a chance to attend all the panels if they so wished. And the events just went off, as far as I can see, without a hitch. It was a fantastic time had by all, and thoroughly looking forward to going to TFNation next year. So what about my own personal experience at TFNation this year? I'm going to have to refer to my notes because there's so much I want to get through. Yeah, I live not that far away from TFNation, probably about less than 20 miles away from the Birmingham Metropol Hotel. And I wanted to get there for midday, so I left home. I can't think. I think was it about 20 past 11. Had a bit of got snarled up in some roadworks on the main road leading out of Leamington Spa. Got to the convention about 12:15, and when I arrived, obviously I went up to the front desk and got my pass and my programme. Now, I haven't really gone through this at any depth. I know it's got a lot of stuff in it that's worth reading. It had that in the middle, which laid out all the panels, and they're all colour coordinated, so you could work out your itinerary from there. A lot of amazing artwork in it, and obviously on the back you've got this amazing piece of art with Rhinox and Perceptor, obviously Paul Idin and Richard Newman. And I think this was done deliberately so people could go up and get it signed. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, and I kind of regret it now. but a bit more about on what I got signed. So yeah, I got the programme, brilliant read, even though I haven't actually read it myself. So we got the instead of a lanyard, we got these armband things with these little black collars. It's like a fabric armband, and you pull this collar up, and it's got an anti-tamper thing. It's got a lot of little backwards facing spikes. You can pull it up, but you can't pull it off without cutting it off. Obviously I cut mine off and I've sort of repaired it with tape. So yeah, I got that, and I was at the convention, and then it was a case of just milling around waiting for people to turn up. Now Chris, Six Shot Changer, and Natalie, all in a blur, had planned this Transformers and such meetup at 1 o'clock, but unfortunately Chris and Nat got kind of delayed. Their train was running a bit late or whatever, and they didn't get there till about, what was it, 3:15, 3:30. So the Transformers and such meets kind of didn't happen. I was waiting for people to turn up. There was some other members there that sort of sat in a group and had a chat, but the main players were a bit late turning up, unfortunately. So I was milling about the bar. I mean, it was like, oh, you can't check into your room till 3 o'clock. So I had some time to kill, and I was always, because I was a dealer, I was waiting for the guys on the stall that I would be helping out with, and that was me and Max Love Toys, James Lai and Dave Knight. They were coming up from the south, and they got snarled up in traffic on the A34, and they didn't arrive till about 5, 6 o'clock. They were quite late getting there. 4:30, 5. I don't know, they were quite late getting there. Anyway, so I had some time to sort of kick back in the bar and just do a bit of people watching, seeing people coming in. Made a point of going up to Sammy Skullgring 140 and saying hello to him, because last year, ironically, he was one of the first guys to come up to me and say hello to me. So I sort of turned the tables on him and back at you, buddy. And as I was walking around the bar, seeing people turning up, I then got. I was walking up to the bar on the right hand side, and there was this chap sat down, and he stuck his arm out to me and said, "Hello, sir. You must be TFR Wilderness," with an Irish accent. And I was introduced to this guy called Damien, Shuriken Dino, and sat down and had a chat with him. And he's a subscriber of mine, and he's a bit of a fan of my work. Thanks, Damien, if you're watching. I'm sure you are. And he turned out to be my new sort of best buddy at the convention. So I was sort of hanging around with him quite a bit throughout the weekend at various points. But it was fantastic talking to him. A great guy. Again, someone else from Ireland. As you saw at the front of my video, that man Mark was going about again, and I sort of met him last year and talked to him a lot more this year. I don't know his surname. Sorry about that, Mark, if you're watching. Yeah, so he was Irish, and Damien's come across from Ireland as well. I don't know what it is about these the Irish collectors. I seem to attract them like a magnet. I don't know what that is about, but anyway, it was fantastic meeting Damien. And like I said, I hung around with him throughout the weekend, and he was my new buddy. But anyway, killed some time. Got some of my I bought some of my KTRT bots, bought them out, showed them to a few people. And then people started coming in a bit late. Chris and Nat turned up, and I had a quick natter with them. And then my guys, James and Dave got in, and it was a big rush for them to unload the van and start putting the stale stuff out. So James suggested I go up to the front desk and get my dealer's pass. So I was going around the weekend with 2 passes on, like so. So got into the dealer hall. It was, what time was it? It was sometime after 5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, and helping James and Dave set up their stall. While I was doing this, obviously I bought my stuff out from the car. I managed to get checked into the room a bit ahead of schedule, so I moved all my stuff up to the room and started getting settled in. And then it was into the dealer hall, setting the stuff up. While I was in there, obviously they were setting up. They were quite late, so it took them a while to get fully set up, and because of that I was a bit late getting back to the bar in the evening. Watched the showing of the Transformers the movie, sort of stood behind the cordon for the dealer area, saw bits of it. I managed to get my little bit of stuff set out early, but the other guys took them a while. But while I was there, it gave me the opportunity to go around and look at the stuff on the other people's stalls, and I managed to get a bit of cheeky dealing going in on the Friday afternoon. Bought a couple of bits from the Space Bridge, and then it turns out that Dave Knight had, because obviously I had this list that I took with me, and I was after a lot of RID bots from the original RID line. It turns out Dave Knight had basically everything I wanted, so I managed to get virtually all the RID bots I wanted in one fell swoop. So that was fantastic, Dave. Thanks, you really did me a favour. So yeah, and obviously managed to get the stall set up, and went back to the bar. And while all this was going on, they had the food carts out, and I grabbed a hot dog. And then after the stall was set up, went back to the bar, sat in a little group of chaps with Damien and a couple of others, and got some toys out, had a play. Vigadef came in and joined us for a while. Hello Dorian, if you're watching. And I showed him some of my KTRT bots, and yeah, it was quite a relaxed deal. I never really got too tied up in the Friday evening festivities. I sort of hung around for a bit. Met Damien again later on. He was the far side of the bar, just having a quiet drink, and I went over and had a good chat with him, and then got my Warbotron WB03F Rex, the little mini Grimlock, out and showed it to him. And then it was getting on in late in the evening. I just went around, had a few chats with a few people, and then I sort of went to bed. I think it was just round about sort of midnight, just after about 12:30, because I wanted to get up early in the morning to go to the do the whole dealer thing. So that was Friday done. Saturday I was a little late getting up for breakfast. Got into the dealer hall just after 8, because there was this hour, sort of 8 till 9, while they give the dealers a chance to get their final preparations done. James and Dave were a bit late getting down from breakfast, so I was sort of at the stall early on, and again, because I'd walked around the night before, I managed to clock a few things, and picked up a few guys early on, including Planet X Hephaestus and a few other things. And then it was batten down the hatches. We're going to open the doors, and the big rush is going to happen. The doors didn't quite open at 9 o'clock. They was a little bit late getting the doors open. The doors didn't actually open till about 8, 9 past. Anyway, so we went back to the stall, and then trading started. Trading on the Saturday was brisk. Like I said in my pre-convention video, I had these concerns about being stuck behind the stall and not being able to go out and do the whole convention thing, and that was realised on the Saturday, because I was pretty much glued to the stall throughout the Saturday. I mean, I did shift a lot of stuff. I sold, I would say at least half of the stuff I brought on the Saturday, and made quite a bit of cash. It was fantastic, absolutely brilliant working alongside Dave and James on the stall. I mean, we were kind of like the three caballeros. We were watching each other's back. When someone went off to have a chat with somebody or have a wander around, we'd be watching over their stuff and then jumping in and selling stuff on their behalf. Because basically there was it was one stall, but there was 3 different sets of people selling stuff. I mean, I had my stuff on one corner, and then you had Dave was selling his stuff on one side, and James was selling his stuff on the other side. So we was watching each other's back, and it went really well. We had a pretty good day. A few YouTubers came up and bought some stuff from me, and I've since seen videos, people's haul videos, and I see the bots that I sold to them, and it's giving me an immense sense of satisfaction to see that. And yeah, it was well, yeah, I mean, as I was going on the stand, selling stuff, I was writing stuff down, what I sold, because you know what I'm like with lists. So where are we? Saturday. Here we go. Here's the Saturday list, the first one. So Tim and Mega Supreme bought some bits from me. So did Mr. Retro Prime. Graham the Collector 75 bought a couple of bits. Craggy Lotus as well. And then later on, Gary Churm, Bisto Yeti, Excellion XLR bought a few bits. So yeah, it was a good day's trading, and I made a bit of money, which was great. Obviously, I was on the stall till the early evening, and I've been on my feet all day because I had these sort of sandals on with like flat soles on, and as I was stood up and not really sat down, my heels was aching like crazy because I've been on them all day. Finished up the selling and went back to the bar about the same time the TFYTC meet was on. So went back to the bar and it was virtually empty. And then it was like, what am I going to do for the evening meal? Bit of a farce, the evening meal for me. Chris Six Shot Changer and Natalie All in the Blur had texted me to say, you want to come and join us for an evening meal? I said, yeah, fine. And then when I got out of the bar, I was trying to contact them and I couldn't get through. Not getting any response from them. So I hung around for a while. And then eventually when I did get a response, they says, oh, we're over at the Pizza Express over at the Resort World. So I walked over to there. And I did see them at Pizza Express, but something you need to know about me is I'm a really mega fussy eater and don't like pizza. So I went around and looked at all the other restaurants in there, and to be honest, they're all fairly fancy restaurants, and you look at the stuff they were selling, and it's kind of fancy food with ingredients in that I don't like, and a lot of them, they were quite, when I say fancy restaurants, they had like doormen on the door, and they wouldn't let you in unless you was wearing, formal attire. You wouldn't let you in with jeans and t-shirt on. You had to be, semi-smart casual before they'd let you in. So in the end, I went up to the Cineworld at the top and bought a couple of hot dogs and ate those, and they were a bit bland. And that was it, and went back to the bar for the evening's entertainment. So then it was back to the for the evening's shows, Club Con. You went into the huge seating area, and they got all the Energon cubes on the tables and stuff, and I sat down on a table with Stu the Mighty Grimlock, Ben Waspshot, Bumble Jumper, and a couple of other guys. And then we watched the cosplay contest, and then after the cosplay contest I kind of drifted off back to the bar, and I didn't sit around for the script reading or the quiz. So then went back to the bar, and it was waiting for people to start filtering back from the other events in the main hall. And then I got in with the Transformers and Such crowd with Chris and Natalie, Pred, Jermaine, F-Stop Cornea, and a couple of others. And Gary Churm, Hot Rodney Prime joined us. Matthew Grant, Toy Therapy, and Nat did this live unboxing thing on the Transformers and Such group, because Gary Churm had give her this box full of stuff, and he wanted her to do an unboxing at TFNation, and I was kind of party to that, and that was a lot of fun. And then later on I kept running back to the room and grabbing more bots that I'd bought, KTRT bots, and showing them off, got Pentastorm out and massive great combiner thing, and showed that off to a few people. And yeah, that was basically how the evening went. It was just going around sort of chatting, drinking, sitting around and talking to people. It was great, it was fantastic. And didn't go back to bed until about 2:30, something like that. So yeah, Sunday, got up a little bit earlier, had a slightly more relaxed breakfast, didn't rush it this time. Got into the dealer hall again, got there before James and Dave. And there was an item on James's stall which I'd clocked early on the Friday, and he'd put it to one side for me. And I said to him, he didn't know how much it was because it didn't have a price label on it, so I had a quick look on eBay to show him what they were worth. And I said, look, I'll buy it for £100. And as it happens, it was the most expensive bot I bought all weekend. And it was this guy, Bullsfire Airstrike. Yeah, bought that off James. He set it to one side for me, and thanks to him, I got hold of this. It's quite a rare figure because Bullsfire, as far as I know, have just gone tits up and disappeared. The only figure they ever made. It's not as good as Fans Toys saw, but it's still an oddity. It's a rarity because they didn't make many of them. There's not many about, and if it's okay. I have got it out and had a little play with it. The build quality's a little bit iffy in a few areas, but aesthetic wise, it's not as good as Saw. But it's a good bot, and I'm glad I bought it because for novelty factor alone, it's definitely worth having. And it was the most expensive thing I bought all weekend at £100. So yeah, James sorted that out for me, and then it was on to the Sunday. Now the Sunday, yes, the Sunday, not so busy as the Saturday. Saturday I was on the stall all day and sold a load of stuff. Sunday, very slow starting off. I think most people had spent their money on the Saturday, and on the Sunday it was like, what cash have we got left? And you can see lots of people going around looking at bits, trying to figure out, I've only got like £5 left. What's the best possible thing I can buy for my £5? And there was a lot of that going on. Couple of things I had to do on the Sunday which I didn't do on the Saturday because I took a bunch of stuff to get signed. And I totally forgot about it on the Saturday because I was on the stall all day. But on the Sunday, I suddenly remembered, I've got to get this stuff signed. So then I went back to the room, got the stuff, and went over. Now, I had my Monster Motors comics that I wanted Nick Roche to sign. But 2 or 3 times I tried throughout the day to go over to get stuff signed, and he had a massive queue. And then one time I went over and I got turned away by Ed Peary. He said, "I'm sorry, mate. The queue's been capped. Only people who have commissioned work to get signed can go and get it signed because he's got to rush off to a panel in a moment." So yeah, there was that. So unfortunately, I didn't get those signed. I was kind of disappointed about that. But what I did get signed. Got my Death's Head signed by Jeff Senior, and here's a picture of him doing it. And had a little chat with Jeff, and Jeff is an amazing bloke, and I'm a huge fan of his work, especially from the Marvel G1 days, because to me, his artwork really came to the fore in Target 2006 because he did a couple of the issues of Target 2006, especially the one where, Galvatron and Ultra Magnus are duking it out, and that is such a memorable issue. And I will say this, nobody draws G1 Ultra Magnus like Jeff Senior does. Brilliant. Of course, him and Simon are doing the whole to the death thing, so Jeff signed that for me as well. That was fantastic. And I wanted to get Simon Furman to sign something, but unfortunately he was doing a panel on the main stage. So then I went across to the other side of the room and went over to Guido Guidi, and he was available, and I bought this and I got him to sign it. And of course, then I went back over to the other side a bit later when Simon had finished, and I got Simon to sign it as well. So Simon Furman and Guido Guidi signed that for me, which was great. Oh yeah, and the other thing I got signed, which I've showed you in my haul video, was got this signed by Hayato Akamoto, and here's a picture of him doing it. Because I love Nickel. Nickel's amazing. Obviously, Dave Ment's girl, she dressed up as Nickel for the cosplay and won it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a photograph of her, and I was a bit disappointed at that because I missed my chance. But fantastic that I managed to get a print of that. That was brilliant. And yeah, that was pretty much the stuff got signed, apart from obviously my Monster Motors comics. So throughout the day, instead of taking money in on the stall, I was, yanking money out of the cash box to buy stuff. So more money went out of the cash box than went in on the Sunday. I didn't have much in the way of sales on the Sunday. And yeah, things sort of started winding down then. It was the afternoon. Now, obviously, you had Richard Newman and Paul Eiding, who were the main guests. And to be honest, I wasn't really that bothered about getting anything signed by them. Later on, I came to regret not getting them to stick their monikers on this. But as it happens, in the Sunday afternoon, later on, it must have been about 4:30, I did actually have a moment with Richard Newman. He was just wandering around, and he came up to the stall and was having a look at the stall, and then I piped up and I said, hello Richard, Beast Wars is one of probably my all-time favourite cartoon series, if not in my opinion the best Transformers related cartoon show ever made. And then I had a very brief chat with him about Beast Wars and Beast Machines, on the fact that the in my opinion the story is like a loop of the beginning and the end of the Transformers saga in two series. And he was really warm, very friendly chap to talk to. And after I'd spoken to him, I got James to take a picture of me and him together. So it's here. Didn't get anything signed by him. It's kind of a regret now that I didn't get him to sign anything, but it was great to meet him. A true legend in the voiceover industry. Fantastic to meet Richard Newman, and like I said, had this little moment with him. Before I forget, I managed to get bot 400 back off Bisto Yeti as well. Richard Delafield of Bisto Yeti had had a bit of a skinful of beer in the bar on the Saturday night, and he was pretty tanked. So he didn't stir till a bit later on. But when he did come round, I sort of collared him and said, "Oh, have you got bot 400 for me?" And he had a rustle around in his bag, and he pulled him out. And of course, I gave him the replacement bot that I bought. Yeah, so I bought this at an NEC Toy Fair last year because it was from the Minicon Rescue Squad team, and Richard was after it because he wanted Stakeout because of his appearance in Sins of the Wreckers. He thought that figure was going to become a much desirable figure and go for silly money, so he said if I saw one to get him for him. So I bought one. I bought the set for £5, and this was in the set, and I sold the set on to Richard. But then later on, when I did my numbering, I figured out that this guy was bot 400, and I kind of regretted selling it to Richard. So earlier this year, I bought a replacement one off eBay, and Richard agreed to do the swap. So yeah, I got my bot 400 back. So thank you, Richard. I got the Red Hot back. So yeah, moving along to the end of the con. The closing ceremony happened. I didn't really see it because it was about that time when the stall started to pack up. So I managed to get my stuff packed up and back to the car pretty quick because I didn't have a lot left. And then it was like, I can go now. I can sod off and just leave James and Dave because they still had the majority of their stall all set up. but I just felt guilty. I thought, I've been on this stand with these guys all weekend, helping them out, you know, selling their stuff for them and assisting with their stall, setting it up and that. And I just felt, I just can't leave it at that. So after I'd got all my stuff back to the car and checked out my room and all that, I decided, sod it, I am going to stay behind and I'm going to help these guys out. So I stayed and I helped James and Dave get their stall broken down, get all the stuff into the boxes. And then we had to get these metal cage pallet things from out the back, and then we had to ferry them all the way back out to the van out the back. And it was during this period when, you know, the convention had finished, everyone had gone back to the bar, and they were taking the stage down, and all the artists were packing up, that I noticed that Nick Roche was still hanging about. And he was just getting all his stuff together. A few staff members was going up and getting stuff signed, so I thought, well, maybe this is my chance to get in there. So I went over, and he was, you know, very busy, you know, getting all his stuff packed away, and his entourage was there, you know, sort of helping him out. And I just, you know, just said, no, Nick, can I just get something signed real quick? So I pulled out my Monster Motors, and he looked at them. He says, oh, look at this guy, he's got the good stuff. So he signed the one shot, and then very quickly got him to sign the other ones as well. That's Curse of Mini Van Helsing. And after he signed it, I've got a picture of him doing it. And I just didn't want to disturb him because I could see he was busy packing up. And I just got the stuff signed quick, you know, shook his hand and then said, right, I'll see you. And he says, oh, that's a shame. I would really wanted to chat to you about this because I must have been the only person who bought Monster Motors to him all weekend. And I did ask him briefly, I says, you know, are you going to be doing any more of these? And he says, yeah, you know, there's something in the pipeline, so hopefully we get some more Monster Motors down the line. And that was pretty much it. I just helped Dave and James get the last of their stuff ferried out to the back, and it was about 7:15 by the time we finished. So I said farewell to James and Dave because they had a hell of a drive to get back down south, so I didn't envy them that. And I went around the bar, said my final goodbyes, and I left just after 7 o'clock and got home about 7:30. So that was my convention done. It was a fantastic weekend. I didn't do as much socialising as I would have liked to have done. Kind of regret that. But I was, again, like last year, I was distracted with doing all those, auto assembly video challenge thing. This year, I was kind of distracted by the sale stand. I was tied up to the stand on the Saturday and didn't really get out much. Managed to get out a bit more on the Sunday. I went round and went into the display room and got a bunch of photos there. I might put a photo gallery at the back of the video to show you off some of the photos that I took. And I went out to see the cars as well. And strange enough, there was a little funny... I was out at the cars and I saw there was, charging people to have your pictures taken with the car. And the night before I'd gone out to have a look at the cars, and all the cars had covers on, except the rusty Camaro. And I said to him, I asked the woman there, I says, yeah, I saw the cars last night and they had all the covers on. And he says, except the rusty Camaro. I said, was that deliberate? I says, are you trying to enhance the rusty patina on the car by not covering up in the rain? And she says, well, no, don't tell anyone, but all the rust on it is paint. It's not real. And and they forgot the car cover, so they didn't put it over. So that was the reason why the night before it didn't have a cover on it. So that's another little anecdote that I needed to put in at the end. But yeah, it was a fantastic convention. Brilliant show for TFNation's first attempt. I'm sure they will go on to bigger and better things next year. I'm thoroughly looking forward to going next year. Seriously thinking though, because I did the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some people do the overextended weekend where they do the Thursday to the Monday. I'm seriously thinking about next year doing the Thursday to Monday thing and doing the extra days at the con, because it'll give me more time to sit down and have long chats with people. And next year I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to do the basic convention. I'm not going to be selling anything. I'm not going to be going out my way taking videos. I'm not going to be bringing, you know, my KTRT bots to show people, because that was kind of a distraction as well, especially on the Saturday night. I think I overdid it a bit. So unless people want to see a specific bot, I'm not going to be bringing any take-along bots to conventions again. I'm just going to turn up and just play with the things I bought. So yeah, that's it. TFNation 2016 done and dusted. Like I said, a brilliant show. I really enjoyed myself. Again, I have a few regrets as to things I didn't do, but hopefully next year I will put that right. And let's move on, and here's to 2017. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it's gone on for like nearly 40 minutes, but when I get going on having a ramble, I just go on and on and on and on and on, and I apologise for that. I just don't know how to say things in, you know, concise manner. And that's that. If you met me at TFNation, then you know, thanks for coming up and talking to me. And I will. It's back to things as normal now. Just my KTRT reviews and stuff. So yeah, that's it. I will see you all next time. Ta-da! Photo gallery at the end. Bye.